Wonderful. Okay. Welcome everyone to our yoga class today. Please have your chair nearby and that long blanket or uh, a sweatshirt. We're going to start standing. Now, as you know, in every yoga class, and really throughout life, but especially in our yoga classes, this is your practice, and even with me guiding, you have. I would encourage you to always check in with how you're feeling, and you are invited to shift um, or do something other than what I'm guiding if it better suits your body today. Or always pause and check in and take a deep breath. Centering oneself is always important when starting any yoga practice. So, starting here, feet under you. We're going to start with some hand rubbing. So, bring your palms together, rub the palms, build up a little heat in your hands. Very good. And then take your hands and begin to flick out. And you can flick and start to lift the arms up, going up as high as you feel good in your shoulders, and then come back down. You might flick out with a sigh or exhale. No specific breath pattern, just notice what feels good. Releasing with your breath. And bring it back down. Begin to bring your feet up, and we're stomping. Stomping your feet on the ground. Feel the feet on the ground. Bring the knees up as far as it's good in your hips to lift. Practicing balance here. And then if it feels great to you, begin to step across and back over. A little mini grapevine. This is great for your brain to practice crossing the center line of your body. You can even do your arms too. This crossing of your limbs across the center line of your body asks both hemispheres of your brain to talk to each other, building new neural pathways. Good. And one more on each side. And bring it back down and wiggle it all out just for a minute. Wiggle what feels right to wiggle. Maybe even your feet. Maybe even your nose. Ah, come back to your standing. Great. So from here, feel the feet in on the floor. Stretch up one arm. And notice just where your arm reaches up today. Every day is different. Every shoulder is different. So notice what feels good in this lift here. You're always welcome to have a bend in the elbow. And notice how it feels to slightly lean over. Stretching through the side of the body. And then bring it back down. Maybe a little shoulder roll, shake, wiggle through the arm. And then we'll do the other side. Arm comes up. Explore your range of motion in this shoulder today as you lift. Welcome to keep a bend in the elbow. And then notice what a little bend to the side would feel like. Bring it back up and down. And a little circle, maybe a little wiggle, the arm. And then bring one ear to the shoulder. Stretch up to the top of the head and bring your head back to center. And then let the other ear sink down towards the shoulder under it. Stretch through the top of the head. Bring it back to center. And then we're going to do a little twist. So turn your belly and chest towards one side. Maybe look over the shoulder a little bit. You're welcome to kind of bounce in and out from that twist. Maybe stretch your arm across like you're giving a fist bump to somebody. And then bring it back. Wiggle a little bit. And then twist to the other side. Turn the belly, maybe the chest. Maybe look over around to that side. Maybe stretch your arm across. Give an imaginary fist bump. And bring it. A little wiggle. Bringing it to the head again and the neck. Turn just your head a little to the side towards the shoulder. Stretch up to the top of the head and bring it back to center. Other side, turn your head just as far as it feels good. Stretch up through the crown of the head to top of the head. And back to center. Good. And then slowly fold forward. Let your chest come down. The head might stay at this angle so the head's above the heart. Or you can explore what it would feel like to bring the head under the heart. Bend into your knees and slowly roll back up. Gazing forward. And then you have the option to look the chest a little higher up, like you have an eye in the center of your chest that's gazing a little higher up than normal, than just straight in front of you. And bring it back to neutral, gazing back in front of you. Now the head, we're going to bring the chin down towards the chest. Notice what it might feel like to let your face and the muscles in your face relax. Feel the effect of gravity. Pressing and stretching through the top of the head. Bring your head back up. And then imagine you have an eye in the center of your forehead this time. And gaze that eye up just a little higher than you normally gaze in front of you. Bring it back to center. Wonderful. Notice your hips. We're going to circle the hips around. And then reverse your direction. You're welcome to have the hands anywhere, on or off the body. Feel into your knees and the feet. Good. And then we're going to do some hip infinity signs. So make an infinity sign with the hips coming around and up through the center, around through the center. Make it like a sideways 8, whatever imagery works for you. Moving with the hip bones. This is also really good. It's kind of a miniature massage for your lower abdominal organs, in the digestive tract and the pelvis. And we are gonna reverse. So imagine you're on a track and just reverse your direction to go around the track in the opposite way. Now I'm coming back through the center, around, back through the center. And maybe one or two more, depending on your speed. And come back to center and take a moment to wiggle it out or just find your still centered pose. Bringing your hands, we're going to have a brief centering practice that you can engage with at your comfort level. So I'm going to cue having one hand on your chest, another on the abdomen. You can find what works for you. If you'd like, you can rub and circle around your chest and abdomen, which is especially good just for self-soothing and also aiding digestion here. This actually helps your digestive tract because digestion is aided when our bodies are in relaxed, rest, digest, nervous system state. And if you wish, you can keep rubbing, or you can find a still place to settle your hands. And the option is yours to intentionally breathe out maybe just a beat longer out than you have been. An option. Try it out. At any time you want to just go back to your natural breath rhythm, that's an absolute wonderful thing to do. And we're going to take the arms and bring them around to the sides of your arms and just rub on the sides of the arms. So it's another way of self-soothing. I like to kind of come up to my shoulders and neck and back down to the elbows myself. Really give a little squeeze and release. Let your arms down. Good. Now come to your chair. Your chair should be nearby. Or hopefully it's nearby. We're going to sit down on the chair. You want to make sure that this chair is, the angle of your knees is about 90 degrees here. It doesn't have to be exactly, but we want to be in that range of around 90 degrees. So you might need to be elevated, sitting up a little higher, or find a lower seat. Good. And sitting on the edge of your chair for now, or rather than leaning back, if that's possible for you. Hands on your legs, and begin to bring your feet a little wider. And we're gonna circle the belly button around the side, back, side, forward, and notice what that feels like to move the spine in this new direction today. On the exhale, you might feel the belly intentionally draw in. And if you're full, this might be uncomfortable. So you can make this a smaller movement too. And then bring yourself to center and then reverse the direction. Now maybe feel the connection of your hip bones and sit bones to your chair seat as a way of grounding and noticing your foundation. Hands can also be on on the chair itself too, if having your hands on the legs feels unstable. Come back to center. And in this wider leg position, you're going to bring one arm up. Find that range of motion in your shoulder that's good for you. Have the elbow bent. Might have the arm kind of just out or stretched up a little, like with the arm a little more straight at the elbow. Notice what's good for you. Have the option to lower down onto your forearm here. And I've got your goddess pose, seated goddess. And maybe open up the arms a little bit. Open up the chest. Maybe turn the head up towards the sky or the side of the room. And slowly bring the arm back down. Good job. Circle it out. And the other side, so hands back down, hand back down, the other arm stretches up. Find your range of motion, find what's good for you. And begin to sink down onto the forearm of the other arm. And the option to open up the chest and the palms so that you're opening, possibly looking a little more out to the side and bring the hands back down, stretch up to the top of the head, and wiggle out your shoulders. You're going to practice stepping one foot out and then bring it back in. Step it out and in. Out and in. Step it out, keep it out there, and then stretch the heel back a little farther. So one knee is bent, the other one is a little more straight out to the side, preparing for warrior or warrior pose. You might turn your chest a little bit to look out towards where your bent knee is pointed. That's an option. You might feel that stretch through the side here, the side of the hip, and out through the leg. You have the options to bring the arms out to the side, cactus arm, or stretching up. All options are beneficial and correct. Can be beneficial and correct. breath in and out. And slowly bring your arms back down. Bring that foot back. And with wide knees, going to slowly bring the chest forward a little bit. Press into your feet. And then lift up through the spine and through the top of the head. Now the other leg, we're going to do the same thing. So practice, bring that leg out and in. Honestly, this is kind of a strength. This is a strength workout in and of itself. It's hard. I think it can be hard to lift the leg up and back in a chair, and it's good mobility practice in the hip. So bring that foot out, keep it out, and then walk that heel out a little farther away so that you're in a warrior stance with the toes pointing kind of forward and diagonal, the heel kind of pointing back. Everyone will look different. Everyone's going to have a unique way of looking in their warrior pose. Good. And you have the option to slowly turn the chest towards this bent knee. You have the option to bring your arms out to the sides, maybe the palms face forward, cactus arms, or stretching up to the sky. All options can be beneficial and are correct. Feel the lengthening of your spine, the stretch through the side of your groin and the hip. And slowly come back to center. Walk the foot back in into a wide. Actually, we'll come back into your forward position, knees pointing forward. And stretch the legs out maybe a little bit longer. And forward fold in a chair, coming to a place that feels good for you. You can keep the head over the heart or explore the head resting down so that it's a little bit below the heart. Arms can be on the legs, anywhere that feels good for you here. Notice what the face feels like. If you notice the effect of gravity, face, muscles gently being drawn down. And shift up. Softly press into the floor. Get good foundation and roll up through each vertebrae. Drawing your chest, shoulders, head up and back down. Wonderful. Good. We're going to do a little bit of balance here, and I'm going to offer a chair balance pose, which as well as a standing option. So here, listen to the chair version and then decide if you want to be in the chair version. It can also help to have a block nearby. I'm going to bring my camera angle down just a bit so we can see the feet. All right, in chair, in a seated version of tree, balancing tree, we're going to bring a block onto the middle of the feet. And then step your foot up on the block. You have the option to come onto the toes or just to turn the ankle in so that your knee is angled out to the side. Orient your spine to a long, stretching, lengthened spine. Shoulders back. And this is seated chair. If you wish to be standing, you can come up and you're welcome to still use the block or the back of the chair. And same thing, you can put the foot on the block, angle the foot out, open, excuse me, knee out to the side. Holding onto the back of the chair or knowing that it's there for support or experimenting with being um, without having that prop. Wherever you are, feel the opening of your hips, the opening of the chest, and the foundation of this, the strength in your foundation leg. And out of this posture, bring your foot back down. We're going to come down to seated to do seating tree on the other side. So in your seated version, the block, you can have a block or not, but it's in the center if you do have a block. Bring the foot into the center and then angle the foot open, the inside of the foot open so that the knee is going out to the side. Maybe the foot, the hip, blah, blah, blah. Maybe the heel's on the side of the leg, maybe not. And notice how your spine is feels in this position with one hip open. The chest stretches open, arms might be out to the side, cactus, or stretching it up. Of course, we'll do now the standing version. So standing version is to be standing with the block in the center again, and lean over, balance, bring the foot onto the block, balance, see if it's right to you to open the foot out to the side, sink into that foundation leg, into the knee, and while standing up or sitting down, notice how your spine feels, notice the strength in that foundation leg. And you're welcome to find arms that suit you here, whatever that may look like. I'll come down so you can see me because on this video, my head is cut off. And after a breath, in and out. Release your leg back down. And we're going to come down to the ground. And preferably come down to the ground with your back up against a wall or something that provides a steady sense of foundation. So to get prepared, you might bring a bolster as well or a block next to the wall. You might have, and you want to have your blanket or sweatshirt next to you, anything that's long, and any other props you like to use. The block can be helpful to put under the knees here because we're going to go into a forward fold. So sitting next to the wall in your comfy position, bend forward when you're ready, bring the head down. And slowly roll back up. let the eye in the center of your chest gaze up, just a little higher than normal. Bring it back to your center. And sit back against the wall and come into a cross-legged pose. We're going to bring the blanket around and bring the blanket under your knees, and then wrap the blanket around each foot. So we're wrapping the feet up. This is called a foot bind. And as you get into this posture, adjust what you need to feel comfy. So in the foot bind, this is a restorative pose that requires sitting with it. So we're gonna sit here for about 10 breaths. I'll count, and you don't need to count your breaths unless that is a relaxing thing to do. The support of the wall. Way your feet feel. Hands are welcome to be in any good position, whether that's on your knees, on your lap, open palm, thumbs to the pointer fingers, and that traditional hand mudra, hand position. Another option would be to hold one thumb and wrap your hand around the thumb. And slowly coming back to the space around you. If you weren't already, come out of this hand position and slowly unwrap your feet. And we're going to come down to the back. You might want to have your blanket nearby so that you have whatever you were planning on using in your final Shavasana. So I'm going to have my blanket nearby and something to go under my knees because I like that. But just have it next to you for this moment. And come down to your back. I'm going to do some twisting, some laying twisting. So always notice how much of this is good for you right now. And if you've, how much is comfortable in the abdomen. Starting off little bit by little bit. So with the knees pointing up, begin to rock the knees from side to side. Arms might be out to the sides, palms down for support. You may also want to turn your head gently from side to side, looking in either direction, maybe away from the knees or with the knees. There's no wrong. Be here for about another 30 seconds. So you're welcome to maybe rest on each side, take a deep breath or two on each side. And now both hands. Bring the knees back up. And bring them into your chest, into a little, like I almost feel like a little egg here. And it might feel good to rock side to side on the back. Kind of a basic self massage on the back. Avoid what doesn't feel good to you and notice what does. When you feel ready, slowly bring the knees back down, legs back down, and stretch them out into your Shavasana or final relaxation pose. Um, like I said earlier, I like to have something under my knees when I'm laying down, and that can help the lower back feel a little more settled, but you can do whatever you like. If you have a blanket or that sweatshirt, you're welcome to place it over. I like to have something, especially over my abdomen and hips. You might like that, or on your chest, even over your eyes, if you want to try it. And as you may know, this your resting pose here is yours and your time. To listen to the sound of my breath. Notice the sounds around me going on. Bring it back to my breath. Eyes may relax. Resting back into the eye sockets, whether they're open or closed. Of course, this laying position, this resting position, does not need to be laying. And if you would be more comfortable, can be seated or reclined. And welcome to adjust anything. here for another few breaths, 3 or 4 breaths into. You have the option to begin to lengthen the exhale, lengthen the inhale. And bring a little movement back into the fingers and toes if you haven't already. Moving a little bit through your hands and feet. And if you're called to stretch a little bit. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking care of yourself today in this practice and beyond. Soaking in that nourishment of our practice today. And when you feel ready, you're welcome to move into a little stretch. Anything that you feel called to go into from here. And then roll onto your side. And then stretch and press up. And come into any good sitting pose, leaning up against a prop or the wall. Notice how you feel here. End of class. Intentionally breathe in and out through both nostrils. Notice what that feels like. Stretching the arms up, down to the heart. Thank you for practicing today. And may this nourishment carry with you. Namaste.